Welcome to Mercy's Designs. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. Today I would like to show you this really cute card using the celebration set, The Gang's All Meer. So I'm going to make it into a birthday card, the next one, but I do need some thank you notes and I wanted to show how you can easily make it into a thank you note. So the other set I used is So Sentimental here for this sentiment. And I think it works really well. This sentiment is actually from Good Morning Magnolia. So to get started, I wanted to talk about how I masked this and did that. One of the things I did was I stamped on the side of a cardstock to make this little border. So, but before I get with that, I'm going to bring in my beautiful, cute little I lined up these stamps right here. So we're just going to do a little bit of stamping and then I'll show you more about the mask. So I'm going to use basic, actually it's Tuxedo black, and just ink this up really well. I have a bit of a cushion here so that the plate is supported, and you want to make sure you ink it up really well. So I'll just slide that up. I'm going to cover my ink so I don't have any issues and go ahead and stamp. So that is the first part. Now while this is drying, I'm going to show you a little bit about how I created a mask, and I'll first show what I did here. So you can see this, I stamped on here and then I cut on the bottom, and that will help me when I go to sponge on the sand part. So I'm going to just bring this back in so I know exactly where I'm going to stamp. So basically I'm just going to cover that up and re-stamp on here. So I have this little L I made using my paper trimmer, and it's got 1 inch because with the Stamparatus close to the hinges, it does not do a very good job. It is too close, too much support, so sometimes it doesn't ink well. So this is a little over 2 inches long, and I'm just going to stamp it like that. So the next part when you're doing this mask is pretty straightforward. I won't show all of it, but what I want to do is I want to cut right along here. So I'm cutting off the bottom part where I definitely want the sand. Now you can't mask in 100%, so I do use my blends when it comes down to the very end. So I'm not going to show too much more of this, or I can speed it up. How it looks. So what we're going to use is this one. Now I'm going to bring in this paper. I'm sorry it's a little reflective, but this will help me keep my work surface clean. So I'm going to bring this in, and what I'm going to do is I have these little brushes. I'm going to take my crumb cake and I'm just going to manually hold this down, and because it's cardstock, you definitely want to go up higher than the picture. So I'm definitely showing some black. Now, this is a little tricky. It'd be helpful to have someone hold this still, but if I kind of put my thumb there, I can get it pretty well. I don't want it too dark, but I want it to be noticeable. So next I'm going to bring in this stamp. This is from Waterfront. It's just a speckle stamp. A lot of you have something like this on hand. It does not come with the set, unfortunately, but again, you might have that on hand. So that's all I'm doing. I'm noticing I'm keeping the mask on for that portion. Okay, and then ta-da. So it gets it pretty good. There are a few spots that you will have to fill in, like right here for one. And if you kind of missed a little on the mask, then you'll need to do that. So, but it does a pretty good job. All right, so the next part, I stamped onto these Avery full sheet labels and I cut it out. So when you cut it out, you don't have to worry about the bottom part because of the cardstock mask. All right, so this one you want to, obviously the top portion, the upper part is the important part. And this would be easier off camera, but it goes on pretty easily. And again, if you miss a little, you will have the option of bringing in with your blends marker to finish the job, essentially. Okay, and this little guy, we got to get him. And then I'm going to have a little bit of a sun here, so I just lay that down. And I'm going to now bring in the pool party. So if you want to make sure that your ink is even, start off and then start the brushing. I do like the brushes a little better than sponging, but both will do the job. I find I just get a little bit more even coloring with the sponge. Now I'm not worried too much about going into that sand a little bit because I'm staying fairly light with this pool party. And I'm just going to look it over and see if there are any spots I feel like that are too light or anything like that, but I'm feeling like it's pretty good. So that is what I think is good enough. I am not an expert by any means with sponging, but this is just a pretty simple design. So there, now we have our white where it's white, and that is an easy fix. What I'm going to do is bring in one of my sponge daubers and add a little color, but first I need to take off this mask, revealing our lily white meerkats, which I don't like exactly, but it's no problem. Okay, so I have a sponge dauber and I already have some ink on here, but you just dab it in, you know, your Daffodil Delight, and there you have it. And I am not concerned to go over because I feel like that actually makes it more realistic. It's like the sun is raying out into the surroundings, so that's actually not a bad thing. So the next part I'm going to speed up. I am going to be using these markers, which is the light gray granite and crumb cake to fill in any spots that I might have missed. So sit back and you'll see the finished product soon. So here I wanted to show, I'm just going to cover this cacti, and what I want to do is use the crystal effects. This is a carryover item from the holidays, and it really adds a lot. It's very quick to do this, but there is a drying time. So I suggest do a bunch ahead of time. and then you'll have them ready to go. But it just adds this like glossy look, and it will, I think it's cool. It's better than Wink Estella for, I think, a succulent. So I color it first, obviously, and I ended up cutting around the cacti, so you do not need to color the base and all that, but you can see what it looks like. So the finished product, this is a dried one, and all I'm going to do is just cover this. So I'm going to quickly do that, and then we will start, you know, putting this card together. We're going to do the sentiment, do a little bit of stamping that way. So I'm just covering the existing one, and if I for some reason didn't do a really good job fussy cutting or anything, this having stamped below it, ooh, that oozed, it's not what I wanted, will actually kind of cover up some of that, and I decided that I would just go right along the edge and have the little needles poking out. So that I think looks pretty good. So I'm going to bring my Stamparatus back in and show you what I have for sentiments. So I'm just going to take off my plate and put this here. Now I decided for my class that some people would appreciate several options that I'm going to be doing, and this way they know the confetti sentiment, which is, so I just put my template in, and the customer can put their template in and decide, the die in the template, and decide which sentiment they want. Now this one is for a different card that I will be making at that class, and hopefully I'll make a tutorial on that card. It's really cute. It's using the new Lily stamp set. What is that one called? Lovely Lily, yes. So I'm just going to ink that up and stamp, and if I feel like I want it darker, guess what? I can do that. So there it is. And I feel like it's helpful to use like some kind of pokey tool to get this out sometimes, just to jar it loose. So that's what I would suggest that way. Hopefully I got that out of the way. All right, so here's our card. Now, remember this So Sentimental, it has these Stitch So Sweetly dies. I have them in here, and the ones I used, obviously this one, and then I used a layering piece, which would be this one. So I think these are really well worthwhile. If you don't have them, you definitely should consider getting them. So I have that right here. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. And I did stamp one ahead of time and put dimensionals. So for the sake of time, instead of having to get new dimensionals out, I'm just going to use this pre-existing one. Sounds like a condition, but the one I pre-made, I should say. So I'm just centering this up, and I think it just adds a nice little touch having this little border. And then I'm going to just add it here. This is a pretty simple card once you make your mask, I think. It's not too difficult, but it's really adorable. So very cute. Now in the stamp set, they have this adorable little hat, and I've gone ahead and made quite a few of them and put dimensionals on the back. So I'll just get one of each color, and this really will add a nice little touch for the whole birthday theme look. So I made these like little triangles from pieces from the mini dimensionals. So I'm going to put this one right over here on this guy, and the popping up definitely makes a difference as well. I'm going to put this one over here, and this is in the Daffodil Delight. That is Bermuda Bay, and this one is the Calypso Coral, and I'm going to put it on this big guy in the center here. So isn't that cute? Now, I was going to originally just put this on a base like this, but then when I added a little bit of black, it really helped make it the whole thing pop. So it's up to you what you want to do, but I felt like it was worth it, that little border, especially since this is a landscape type card. So it's a scene opposed to like a feature like in the center or something of the card. So having that little bit of border really adds to it. So quickly add this to our card base. And then we'll do a little stamping in the center, and then we will be done with this card, which again I think is extremely adorable. If you don't have this celebration set, this should be one of your first, because it's very cute. It'll be great for like little kids stuff, or just something for even adults. All right, so we're gonna do a little stamping in the center here. So I'm gonna bring in my soft suede, and this little guy standing up. So we'll just stamp him off to the right. Then I'm going to bring in my old olive and my Bermuda Bay, the Sentimental. So just quickly open these up. So this little lizard, I think that's what it is, I'm going to put him right beside the stand-up guy. And you're probably guessing what I'm going to actually stamp in the center. Happy birthday to a stand-up friend. It's so cute. Love this set. Adorable. So I'm just going to try to center that as best I can. Just sometimes a little hard on camera. Bring in our card. Add this, and I will show you, bring in the original one. If you have any stamping needs, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to help you place an order with a host code. If you have any questions, please email me as well, or leave a comment below. In the description, I will have the measurements and more information about this stamp set and how I made the card. So be sure to check that out. Okay, so here is my original, and I think they're both cute. It just depends on what you need at the moment. So if you need a birthday card, you can do this option, or you can do a thank you card. So both are really cute, and I stamped them in pretty much the same way in this inside. So thanks again for watching, and if you want to make a mask, just follow my instructions earlier. All right, happy stamping.